Hey, what's up, family and friends? You know what time it is. Hey, I'm gonna really take my time on this one because this is serious. What I'm about to share with you. Um, well, we know that death is a part of life, and for many of us, the the most difficult kind of death to accept, if there any such term, is what we call the untimely death, or when it happens to someone who appears to be very young and full of life. A childhood friend of mine, young man who had his whole life ahead of him, suddenly out of nowhere, fallen ill, went into a coma, and passed on. And I mean, literally, it was like we got a phone call saying that, this childhood friend was in a coma. We didn't know why or what for. And the next thing we know, a week later, we get a call saying that he passed on. Now, we later found out that he actually died of diabetes. He was diabetic and didn't know it, and went into a diabetic coma, and by the time it was just too late, obviously. Now, where am I getting, or where am I going with this? When I attended our childhood friend's funeral, I really took in the number of people who were in attendance. I looked at their demeanor, I felt their vibration. And I can honestly say, unlike some other funerals that I've gone to, that most of the people there were there because they genuinely felt a connection to this person. They were genuinely touched by this person. They weren't there out of obligation. They were there because they genuinely cared about this person. And he had a very large turnout. Now, I always say that our funeral will be like, it would be a true testament of how we lived our life. In what way, you may be asking? Well, if you were someone who was cruel and, didn't really do much for humanity, was all about self, someone who was mean-spirited and didn't really contribute anything to life other than seek out things for your own selfish means, what kind of people would turn out to show their last respects, if anyone? And those who do come, are they coming because they're glad to see you go? Or they're mourning the loss of separation? I want you guys to really think about that. And of course, I'm going somewhere with this, as I always do. I can't tell you how many souls, I can't even fathom it, how many souls have transitioned out of this world into the next, wishing that they could do things differently. They're full of regret. This is what creates a soul who's trapped in the astral realm. It's not necessarily someone else doing it. It's we're doing it to ourselves. Or those souls who, stay trapped or don't want to move on, basically. They may want to stay close to the physical realm, or they stay stuck in the astral realm, and they're full of regret and shame and guilt and fear of moving forward, fear of consequences, because of how many times of how they lived or we lived our lives. I want you guys to really think about this question. If you were to pass today, right now, I don't care how old you are, how young you are, it doesn't matter. If you were to pass right now, what would your legacy be? What would you be known for? Will you be missed? Or would there be people who would be happy to see you go? What kind of energetic seeds will you be known for when you passed on? Really think about that question. And don't take for granted that we have a lot of time to do whatever it is that we want our legacy to be. Because we don't know on a conscious level, on a 3D conscious level, we don't know when our time here would be up. So I see a lot of people using their life in a way that is contributing to tearing down, destroying, malicious intent. I see a lot of this, and I have seen a lot of it in my life. I see a lot of it on the internet. I have even been a target of it. Not a lot, but I have. And I understand on a fundamental level that this is coming from a place of insecurity, a place of hurt, and a place of pain. And some people will even say, well, you know, they may not be able to help it because they're a victim of their environment. I don't believe in victimization. You're only a victim when you agreed to being a victim. I have a million reasons to be very bitter, angry, cold-hearted, selfish, negative. But what I decided to do years ago was transcend my environment that's programming that kind of energetic stream. This is the difference between those of us who become fully conscious or in Christ consciousness or in God mind consciousness versus those of us who are in the fleshly physical consciousness. We're basically admitting when we are, oh, that's the way I grew up. That's just the environment I am. I'm mean and I'm nasty and I'm cruel because people were cruel and nasty to me. Or I'm malicious and I'm willing to tear someone down because I'm hurting inside. Well, you're admitting that you're a slave to your programming. You are a slave to your DNA, your genetics. You are far more powerful and greater than that. This is the difference, again, between those of us who are just going through life as drones, following programs, following our environment, which is the equivalent of just being a drone and keeping that lowly energetic pattern going, versus those of us who are conscious, fully conscious. What do you want your legacy to be? Think about that. And if it is one of lifting someone up, planting seeds that will create gifts that will continue to go and grow, then we need to start now, because tomorrow is not promised. I would love to see more of us having a smooth transition and moving outside. Let me break this down to you guys. When we are in these physical lives, we're literally experiencing from the inside out, meaning we are inside. We can't see the greater reality, or how our thoughts, our actions, and our deeds affect the whole. But what happens is when our physical life is over, we get a bird's eye view of what we contributed, be it negative, positive, indifferent, neutral. We really see how lashing out and picking on someone or bullying someone has affected that person, has created and reinforced an energetic pattern or string that has been preventing many people from realizing their fullest potential, or has been slowing down the progress with those of us who want to reach our fullest potential. So when we are maliciously attacking someone, whether it's the product of our own pain or environment, we have to answer for that. We are responsible for our creation. No one can escape this. We are responsible for our own creation. So when we put something out there, it's going to come back. But by the time it comes back, it will have gained so much momentum that it's going to come back to us 10, 20, 30 times over. There's an old saying, the grave you try to dig for someone else is the grave you ultimately dig for yourself. This is so true. What we do to one another, not so much what we do to ourselves, it's really what we do to one another is ultimately what we are doing to ourselves. So when you try to tear, or when we try to tear someone down, attack someone, lie on someone, oppress someone, stab someone in the back, it doesn't matter. If we try to love someone, lift someone up, help someone, be a sacrificial lamb for the greater whole, all of these things come back multiple times the amount of energy that it took to put it out. So we can't say anymore that we didn't know this. If you're hearing me, watching this video, you can no longer use your environment or your pain as an excuse. And again, I can say these things because if maybe one day I will do a book and really share everything that I've been through in my life. My life has been extremely difficult, as with many of yours. But anybody who knows me, really knows me, who has been around me and worked with me on multiple levels, they will tell you, you would never know the stuff that I've been through, because I made a conscious decision that I will not be a slave to my environment. I will not be a drone. I will not be a slave to my genetics or my DNA. Again, it's all about me using my life to inspire and encourage others, and that is what I want my legacy to be. My friend who passed away, ironically, in the hospital, when he took his last breath, his brothers told us that he had a smile on his face. And we weren't surprised, because this is a guy who, I don't care when we saw him, he was always upbeat, smiled. He grew up in a rough part of the ghetto, as I did, as many of us have. And we were exposed to gunshots going off, drugs, gangs, seeing dead bodies in the street, dysfunctional home, violent. I mean, you name it. You name it. He has been exposed to it and has, or had, many reasons to be a very bitter and angry person, but he did not allow his environment and condition to enslave him. He did not want to participate in adding and expanding that lowly energetic string. So this guy always had a smile for everyone, even if he was in pain. He always found something positive and encouraging to share. He was not judgmental. Everybody genuinely loved him and cared about him, and he will be greatly missed. What a legacy. He has planted seeds of a beautiful rose garden. This is a gift that will keep on going because he has positively affected so many lives, and that affects us on so many levels. And we go out and it is a gift that keeps on giving. He has left a legacy to be proud of. And again, I ask you, if you were to pass away right now, what would your legacy be?